income solved problems, high earners will never have stress. Hello, this is Vladimir Nemchinov with InvestSteady.com. Today we're going to talk about broke people, but broke people who make a lot of money. All right. Income does not fix bad order. If you can make 100K and still feel broke, if you skipped budgeting or never killed your debt, money without structure creates chaos faster. It's all about the order. There's no order. Just like with doing a bunch of things at the same time, with no order, you'll be doing a lot of things and not getting anywhere. Going fast, moving very quick, but not getting anywhere, not achieving anything. Let's look at first question. Oh boy, I started with this. 20-year-old making over $1,400 a week, but somehow still broke. My gross pay is $1,794. Take home is just under $1,500. My rent is $1,148. Car payment $600. Utilities around $100 a week, and I do gamble here and there. How am I ending up broke each week? And that's best way. And what's the best way to distribute this money? All right, let's do some math. So bringing gross pay $1,794 home, bringing home $1,500. I think it's a week, right? So he makes $6,000 a month. Rent is $1,100. Car payment is $600. So let's say 2,000 give or take. Obviously he did not talk about all the other bills. So but if 2,000, let's say $3,000 is everything that is coming out of his check, and he then wastes $3,000 a month. Well, gambling here and there could be a problem. Not keeping track of what is going where is a problem. You don't know. It's very simple. Your order has to be as follows. First step, level 1 of wealth game is to create a budget. How much is coming in? That's known. What is going out? Yes, I'm gambling here and there is one thing, but if I'm gambling $1,000 a week, well, there goes all your money. Step number 2 is protect yourself. 24-year-old, looks like single, skipping that level. Level 3 is save up $1,000 for emergencies. Small emergencies, ankle biters here and there, $1,000. Next level would be pay off all the debt. Car payment is a debt. $600 every month. Okay, that's $7,200 a year. You're just paying and paying and paying. And if you went and bought a car for $7,200 in cash, no payment. Okay, all right. Next step after you pay off all the debt is increase your emergency fund from up to 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Okay, in this case, for $3,000 he can do everything. Okay, so this is $9,000 to what is it, $18,000. Okay, right, 6 times 3, 18. Okay, just want to make sure my math is right. Welcome. If you're just joining us in this stream, we answering some questions and talking about people who make a lot of money but still are broke. Okay, lifestyle creep is silent. Every raise turns into a car upgrade, bigger house, more subscriptions. Your lifestyle rises just as fast as your income. And that is the problem. That is the problem. Where on the other hand, what's the opposite to that? You drive the same car, you got a raise, great. You increase what you're putting into your retirement, for example. Yes, some things need to be improved, right? You're making money, so you can improve your lifestyle. However, if you always improve your lifestyle by buying bigger cars, more expensive houses, and all your money goes on eating out, then you're not better off. Yes, you could make $100,000 a year and still live paycheck to paycheck. Granted, you probably will have a better car than I have, or bigger house than we have. Um, but what is the point? The stress level will be the same. Let's look at another question. Making good money, still broke. Help, please. So I'll start with off by saying I've read several of Dave Ramsey books. Familiar with budgets, read how to handle money post. Of course, I just can't seem to follow through for more than a few months. Here's the dilemma. Wife and I have pretty much zero savings and we are basically living paycheck to paycheck. Due to poor decisions and bad relationship in the past, my credit is terrible. We want to move to a different area closer to our kids' school, but but my past credit is not helping that. We drive our kids to a different school district due to a poor school in our area. Here's the facts. Combined income 130K. Wow, Z, pretty good. Home inherited through family. Oh, 120,000. Value is 250,000. Cabin inherited through family. Paid off. Value is 175K. I had a good chunk in retirement. Zero left now after pulling out for home, cabin repairs, and wedding. Credit cards 9,500 in debt. Some of my other bills, internet, cable for both houses. Why you have two houses? Anyways, for two houses, blah blah blah. Electrical for both houses, $200 a month. In the winter, usually 300 to 400 a month. Wife and I both have newer cars, 1,000 a month in car payments. Up until this month, roughly 1,100 a month in health insurance costs. This is going down 400 a month due to job change. Food, family, and I go out to eat somewhat often. I go to lunch with my coworkers almost daily. Wife, kids, and I often almost every weekend when the weather cooperates go to our lake home, which cost us around $150 trip, and that is every weekend. So that's $600 a month. Between gas, food, etc., we've got a lot of hobbies. I'm the avid outdoorsman and I like gadgets. Read lots of guns. I know for a fact that we are spending way more than we need to. I'm working toward not going out to eat for lunch. Working towards, huh? Or if I go out, set a much lower limit for that I can spend, e.g. 7 instead of 15. Well, $15, 5 days a week, $75 plus give or take is $100. So $400 it costs you every month to go eat out. Should I look into refinancing my auto loan? The rate is very high. Is buying a new home currently a bad idea? It should get us closer to work and our kids closer to school. Should we be talking to a financial advisor? Any help would be appreciated. I am beyond stressed out. Whew. Yes, $130,000, two houses, a lake house or a cabin or something like that, and people still live paycheck to paycheck, stressed, no money. But they have nicer cars, but they don't own them, right? They owe on the cars. Cabin cost extra money. Yes, they enjoy it somewhat, but imagine how many enjoyments you can get, and not only from one place, from a different places if you sell it. Okay. Now, if you sell it, how much further ahead it will get you? You can pay off your mortgage. No mortgage. You can go to a different. You can buy a different house that you want by selling your house. That will net you maybe 100K, maybe 100. So you can buy a $250,000 house closer to where you are with cash if you sell the other ones. Okay, so these are the things that obviously it's hard for us. It's hard for me. I want these things, wife want these things, and kids want these things, and hard to say no. but you're actually saying no. You're just saying no to a calm and peaceful life. You're saying yes to spending all this and making, I don't know, certain, keep up with certain looks. You are saying no to living closer to your kids' school, to living closer to your job, to living in a worse neighborhood. That's what you're saying no, yes to, while you're saying no to your dreams and actually being closer to kids' school. Unfortunately, math is math. If you have $100, you can only spend $100. Yes, you can go in debt, but my dad, I remember, was saying that you borrow somebody else's money, but you pay back your money. And I don't know if it makes sense in English as it is in Russian, but it's pretty funny joke. But when you're in debt, it's not very funny, right? You have all these cars, nicer cars, $1,000 every month going towards the payments on the cars. It's math. There's no emotions. Yes, you're asking about advisor. Yes, that would help, or a friend who you can share with, and they can unemotionally tell you, don't do this. The wealth game is there for a reason, and the levels of the wealth game will get you to that goal. But you'll have to pay off stuff. You'll have to say no to going eating out every day. At some point, I worked at Lincoln Electric, and I worked in different buildings. That I worked there over 5 years altogether. And I remember working in one building where it was a revolving door. There was a bunch of people. I just came. I started driving tow motor, and there was a bunch of people coming and going. There was like 5 people interviewed together at the same time with me. Only 2 of us made it through, and only I showed up. Well, 2 of us showed up first day. The second day, only I showed up. It was hard work. Okay, it was fast paced. You don't sit somewhere and do nothing on the phone. It was fast paced work. People don't want to work. Anyways, why I'm telling you that is because it was, to me, it was strange. Everybody going out. I mean, young people. I was, how old was I? 30s maybe. No, I wasn't. I was late 20s. Everybody went out for lunch. Every single person in that revolving door of young people trying to get this job went out to eat. At that point, I didn't pay attention, but when I was transferred to a different place, a different department, well, different building altogether, Plant 5, I mean 4, and I worked with people there who worked at Lincoln Electric for decades. Okay, one guy worked there for 30 years. Out of that bunch, and they made some serious money. And if you know anything about Lincoln Electric, bonuses there historically were amazing. Still up to 50%. I don't know what it currently was, but when I was there, it was like 50% of your salary you get in bonus at the end of the year. And people there, older guys, much older than me, retirement age, they would bring lunch. And it was such a contrast to me. It's crazy. Anyways, back to the question. You give up one to get the other. So which one do you want to give up? You want to give up eating out, car payments, maybe the cabin, okay? Or do you want to give up living closer to the house, to the school, living closer to work, a stressless life? Is that what you want to give up? And that's what you give up by default, without thinking, planning, going through the wealth game, the levels of wealth game. And this is for everybody. We give up something. I want a nicer car. Well, maybe I might not be able to drive it because I have no money for gas. And that happened to me. I know a acquaintance of mine who bought a car with the rest of the last of his money, and then he didn't have gas to drive it. So that was funny. And actually, that's when I decided, because most people, they want to look rich, but they're broke. You know, look at those people. People look at them like, oh, they have a cabin, nice cars, going out to lunch every week. They look great, right? But on paper, they suck. They're poor. And so back then, it was a decision for me, a conscious decision to say, I would rather look poor but be wealthy than look rich and be broke. one of lessons of my life. And that's one of the reasons why I'm sharing all this. All right, let's move on. No retirement structure equals anxiety. If you're not investing 15% consistently, you'll always feel unsure about the future. And that is, um, in 20 and 18, 16, 18, who cares about retirement? And we call these accounts retirement because they are retirement accounts, right? 401k, a Roth IRA. What are they for? Because some people in the past were going broke and were not able to survive even on Social Security. That's what government subsidizing or encourages employers to provide these benefits, right? By not charging interest or deferring interest charges. So the younger we are, the less we think about that. But that's wealth. It's just a vehicle that allows, like in the Roth IRA, allows you to grow tax free. They don't want to just for anybody to do that, but that's the point of that. Yes, you might not think about retirement. I'm 40. I don't think about retirement, but in a sense that, oh, what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna be, but financially, I am thinking about that, and it's not necessarily, arguably, is retirement. It's more of a wealth building. All right, the wealth game. That's what I'm playing. All right, let's look at another question. Decent income, still struggling. 100K household living like we're poor. Hello, posting here in hopes of getting some advice from people that have experienced something similar. Obligatory apology for formatting. I'm on mobile. Okay. My wife and I both work full time. Paid $26.34 bi-weekly, so $5,200 a month, and our household income is 100K before taxes. After takes, I believe it's roughly 92,000, give or take. So if we do 8, almost 8, a little under 8, no, 780, yeah, a little over $7,000. Last September, we filed for bankruptcy as a result of poor planning and decision making. Things happening out of control, which admittedly would not have been as big of an issue if the planning and decision making was better. For what feels like forever, my wife and I have been living paycheck to paycheck, and that's certainly an understatement considering tomorrow's payday and we have about $2 left in our bank account. Wow, guys, do you want to make $100,000? I want to make $100,000. They do. That's what they make. And they have $2 in their checking account. That makes me sad. It makes me sad. We are adults. We are to do. We are to make hard decisions because we know what's right. And like little children, we scream, "We want this! I want this! I deserve this! I want it all, and I want it now." This is very sad. You have no idea how sad it makes me. I don't know for you, but for me, it does. You make a lot of money. Half of the world, more than half of the world, would like to even see or make that much money in the whole lifespan. But you make that a year and you spend it all. For our monthly expenses, we are currently paying $400 for a car payment, 100-ish bucks for a car insurance, 130 for cell phones, 60 bucks, $65 per person. I pay $25 for a service. For Black Friday, the same company, Tello, I'm not sponsored by them, although I might get something if I put a link. $25 is what I pay, and my wife, I got her $15 for unlimited everything a month for a year, Black Friday. When I saw that, I was like, yeah, why not? So looking for ways to save, and they paying at least 4 times more. I'd say around 100 for subscriptions, probably less, but for numbers' sake. That's the thing. They have no idea. They have no idea how much they pay for subscription. $100. That's at least 5 subscription for 20 bucks, and at least what, 8 for 15. That's a lot of money, but you don't even know how much is going towards that. Blah, 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 blah. ETA. What's ETA? 100 be high, but I can update this once I am able to look through everything and get a accurate number. Our mortgage is going up to 1,000 in July. 1,000 bucks. This is nothing. This is nothing. This is not a problem. Our mortgages are a little under 1,000 bucks. Our utility bills are around 350 a month, and we will be paying 900 a month for 2 kids in childcare. It's typically 500 a month, but they are both going full-time in summer. We have a pre-tax childcare cost account, and we get $258 bi-weekly. Should be $208. Now that I have laid all of that out, it's really embarrassing how much we are struggling. What's ETA? I don't understand. Is he using it, or I don't know what it means. We spend about 1,000 a month on food and household items. That's actually not bad. I think my wife spends more than that. Around 150 for gas. We have very good health insurance that's affordable and covers most things, and anything out of pocket is paid for by our HSA. Internet is $65 a month. I pay $30. We hardly go out to eat because of the dietary restrictions, and neither of us smoke or drink. Great. A while ago, we were in a pinch for money due to needing to deal with household emergencies, so we used the app Earnin. And this is where things started to get pretty bad, because we haven't been able to stop since, and it's absolutely annihilated our paycheck when it comes time to pay it back, plus fees. Yes, they don't give it for free, do they? How the heck do we get out of this cycle? We're still paying bills late, getting disconnection notices, and overall struggling to live. We have cut back on our unnecessary spending, and have been putting effort into bringing lunch to work. Oh yeah, lunch to work is gonna save you. If we know we are going to be out of the house running errands around mealtime, do we just stop using Earnin and deal with it that way? Let bills be late so we're not just constantly stealing money from our next paycheck? Sorry if this is not coherent. I'm burning the heck out from stress. Ask any questions, and I appreciate that. Well, enough read, guys. Can you read? Can you hear the stress that they're going through? $2 on their account, but yet they have unnecessary subscriptions. Cancel subscriptions, $100 a month right there. I made a joke that lunch is not gonna help you not eating out. But all these little things together they'll help you. They'll help you get out of this hole. It's a big hole. You make a lot of money, you waste a lot of money. So that's why it's not how much money you make. It is not. 5 years ago, I was making $15 an hour. I had several properties by then. $15 an hour. Who makes $15 an hour these days? This is crazy. Any starter job pays more right now. Maybe not every. The point is, and I already had family, I already had kids. At least one and a half. The point is not how much you make, but what you do with the money you make. As you can see, this person is in so much stress because they dug in the hole. Now they borrow against their future paycheck to live right now. And the next paycheck, they need to borrow again to cover those expenses. But there's a lot of fluff. It has to be hard. A doctor is doing something hard. A surgeon is cutting out. It's painful. It's not pleasant, but it helps with whatever disease they're cutting out. Same here. You cannot be doing the same thing and expecting different results. You have to change. You have to change what you're spending. Man, it sucks. It sucks to read stuff like this. It's a lot of money. You can do better than that. Wealth is built in sequence. Budget, protect income, start emergency fund, pay debt off, fully fund emergency fund, then invest 15%. Skipping steps, creating stress. They do everything. They want the debt. They want nice things. I want nice things, don't get me wrong. Kinda do. My wife wants more nice things than I do. But I do. But I don't want to sacrifice my future. I don't want to potentially be working at Walmart when I grow up. This is the saddest thing for me to see when I go to Walmart and I see those greeters. They can barely move, but they have to go in there and stand there. And thank you Walmart for hiring people who cannot clearly afford living. They are not there because it's fun to check receipts for ungrateful people who are rushing somewhere. They're not there for that, but they're there because they did not think of their future. Maybe you're 70 right now and you are doing that. You're working at Walmart. Please share in the comments. Tell us who is 60, who is 50, who is 40, who is 30, who is 20 years old. What did you do wrong? Why? Why are you working at Walmart? So that it's an example for us. Yes, we can have fun and spend our young years having fun. But at what cost? The cost of our future? It's like borrowing for school. You're borrowing against your whole future. And not every time it pays off. Not every time. And they don't actually mention any student loans or anything like that. Just stupid cars. Mortgage again is $1,000. Who wants a $1,000 mortgage? That's nothing these days. Peace comes from control. Financial calm doesn't come from flexing. It comes from knowing your numbers and having a plan. Yes, I'm flexing with my net worth, but not, this is my actual net worth. Why am I doing this? I want to inspire people. Not everybody in their 40s have $600 net worth. 8 properties these days. A couple paid off cars. Actually, 1 property is paid for now. So that's why I'm sharing this. Not to show, I'm so cool. As a matter of fact, like I said, I grew up with people. I grew up here in America. By grew up, I meant like I matured here in America with other people. And we've talked about these things. And this is where I am. And again, not because I'm so smart, but I see my friends and they struggle with the same things. If you are stressed, something is out of order. Fix the order and the stress starts disappearing. What level are you on? Invest steady